Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. And holy moly, what a review we have for you today. I'm not sure if the review is going to be any good, but the album was pretty good. So we're talking about that today. And as always, we are babbling about the music that we love. And today we're doing a first listen review of Judas Priest's brand new album, Invincible Shield. I've never seen a promotion for an album start so early, but I think it did its job because I've been really looking forward to this one for however many months it's been now. I've actually done a couple reviews on a couple of the singles that have been released, not all of them, but a couple of them I did. And man, I've just been excited for this one. Judas Priest is one of those bands that I got into like way back when I was young, and I remember hearing Screaming for Vengeance for the very first time. I'd probably heard Judas Priest on the radio and stuff before, but I remember hearing Screaming for Vengeance. I can't even talk. I'm so excited for this one. When I first heard that one, I was at a friend's house. His sister was playing it in her room, just cranking it up, and I was like, "What in the world is that? What is that?" And found out it was Judas Priest. I went out and bought the album, and I've been a huge fan of these guys ever since then. So. Anyway, and as you know, that's been the gold standard for Priest for years. And when Painkiller came out, that may have either equaled or raised the bar depending on which album you like the best. But I remember that album, and then of course Defenders of the Faith. I would listen to those albums all the time. Love Priest. When they got Ripper in there, wasn't a huge fan of those albums, and I was really excited when they got Rob back in the band. And when I got those next 3 albums they did with Rob, I have to admit it, not a huge fan of those albums. Although I still like them, they didn't do anything even close to what they had done previous to that, in my opinion. That's all this is, just opinions. Nobody get too upset about it. We're all different in how we listen to stuff and how we hear stuff. And that's kind of why I explained how I came into these guys and where I started with them. And went back and I love the earlier stuff. But that didn't come out too good for me. Of course, we all know the drama about KK not being in the band anymore. So when Firepower came out, I wasn't really sure what to expect. And that album came out, and I love that album. The production on that album is great. The songs on that are just back to the Priest I loved. And this album does the same thing. Got Andy Sneap back on production. Glenn's still involved. He's doing a few solos on here even, and wasn't really sure how involved he was going to be. I had heard talk about it, but holy moly, what an album! Of course, I've already done a review on Panic Attack, and that's how this album starts. And it's got that cool, I compared it kind of to the Hellion, but not in the way it sounds, but just in the fact that it has a little bit of an intro to it. And it's got a cool little guitar thing going on there. It doesn't sound anything like the Hellion, not trying to say that, but it's got a cool little intro that reminded me of how, Electric Eye started with the Hellion. This gave me that kind of feeling. That's the first song on here. And, man, what a way to start an album. I've been hearing that one on the radio a lot, too, so I've been really digging that one. And then I'm not going to go through every single song here because this would take me a while, but it doesn't slow down. There's only one song that even comes close to being slow, and that's Crown of Horns. And I did a review on that one too, and that one's not slow. It's only it's a mid-tempo song, but there's nothing slow about it. It's still heavy as heck. And the longest song on here is actually Invincible Shield, the title song, and it doesn't seem long. It's just it just kicks such butt that it doesn't sound. It doesn't sound long at all. I mean, this album's over, and I actually just I want to hear it again. That's a good sign. Some of the standouts on here though were not the singles that were released. It wasn't the title song either. I actually really liked Devil in Disguise. Gates of Hell I think was great, and As God Is My Witness. And that song really kicks in. As God Is My Witness, just man, that's the Priest I love listening to, just fast and heavy. And another little side note here is that Rob is on some of those other albums previously to the Firepower, he was kind of singing a lot in his lower register. You have that here too, but there's a lot of the belting it out, the Rob that we want to hear from back in the day. I think he sounds great. I think his singing is better than it's been in years. He's just like nailing it. He's like going for it, killing it. And even when he's like doing some of the screams and it sounds like his voice is falling apart, it just still is strong and on key, and just like he's just giving it all he's got. And I'm making a fist like talking about it. Yeah, man, like he's like really singing his butt off on this album, and great catchy melodies. It's like heavy, but it's the songs that you can sing along to with, you know, you're driving down the highway and you're just like singing at the top of your lungs, you know, whatever song it may be, because every single one, there's not a sleeper on this album. There really isn't. In fact, the only time it really slows down at all is when we get to track 11, Giants in the Sky. There's a little acoustic thing towards the end of the song, and he kind of sings, crooning if you want to call it, over that. It doesn't last long, and it kicks right back in, but that's kind of a, I don't want to say bluesy, but it's got a bluesish feel to it. And man, I don't know, it just it just ends with a killer, you know, high note there, if you have the regular album. However, I got the deluxe one, and there's 3 more songs on that, and I wasn't going to mention these, but these songs are good. Like, they could have been anywhere on this album and still been fine. I kind of see like why maybe they didn't put them in here, because like Fight for Your Life has kind of like an old rock-a-rolla type riff to it, and gives me that feel to it. But it's heavy. It's got the modern day production too. But it does. I mean, as soon as I heard the riff, I was like, holy crap! That's like taking me back to like, you know, early Priest. So maybe that's why they left that one off. And then Vicious Circle, another killer song. Just, you know, just a flat out rocker. It just is what it is. It's a flat out rocker. Not much more to say about it. It's just them doing what they do best. But it ends with a song called The Lodger. And the only thing I can guess as to why they didn't like include this as the main part of the album is because Rob is singing in a really high falsetto, and I kept thinking, man, this sounds a lot like King Diamond, which that's not a bad thing if you're a King Diamond fan, you know, like some of us are. So, but it was just I don't know, you just don't hear him sing like that very often. So, cool songs, cool album, great production. The solos on this one, I didn't really say too much about them, are phenomenal. I mean, they don't bore me like some, you know, metal, you know, sounding solos can. You can tell Richie's like kind of breathed a new life into the guitar playing, I think anyway, in these bands. And Glenn on the songs he plays on, just sounds like he's actually gotten better as time has gone on. I don't think his you know, his disease there has affected his guitar playing at all, at least not in the studio. Don't know what he's going to be doing out on the road with these guys, but in the studio, it hasn't slowed him down at all. The production on this is just perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping I was going to get. I have no complaints. So there's me ranting and raving about this album. I wanted to rant and rave about it. It's like, in my mind, there's only good music and bad music, and I wanted this to be good. I had high hopes for it, and there's been a couple albums this year that I had high hopes for that have fallen a little flat. This one didn't fall flat. It's exactly what I wanted. And as always, you know, I'm welcoming everybody to leave their comments. Hopefully, everybody shares the joy that I did on this, because that's what music should be. It should be joyful. It should be happy. It should be like something you put on and like, yes, this is what I wanted to hear, and that's what this album did for me. So anyway, like, share, subscribe to keep the music alive. But I think these guys are doing a great job of keeping their music alive themselves. But hey, why not give them a hand while we're at it? And until next time, we will see you.